Hey guys, and welcome to the Working Money channel. Jungle Inc. here on Twitter posting this. I rarely speak about XRP, but I think now is a good time. By the way, Jungle did just recently start a new Twitter account because of some problems with his old one. If you're not yet following Jungle Inc., I do suggest you do at Jungle Inc. X now on Twitter. He goes on to say, if the crypto space continues to be flat or have a downturn as we end 2023, people will become even more unhinged. This is normal for late in the bear market cycle. We have a great setup for the next bull run. Relax and enjoy the process. I'm getting the same vibes here as Jungle Inc. is. You know, we haven't really moved too much. We haven't really seen too much momentum for the King crypto. Bitcoin right now is still trading where it's been trading over the last few days, roughly 26,000. So 25.9 as of the time of this recording. We did see a bit of excitement. We did see Bitcoin go up. Then we saw Bitcoin come back down. And guys, this is all just based on the narrative that we've been hearing for cryptocurrency and regulatory clarity, what governments are saying, namely in the United States. We've got XRP here too, not really moving too much right now as of the time of this recording, just at about 50 cents. But we got to remember this is normal. Let's not forget, guys, the opportunities that lie ahead. Let me bring up the total crypto market here. As you guys can see, we are in a really, really good spot here for accumulating more cryptocurrencies, dipping right back down here into a support level that we currently saw back in mid-June. We are dipping right back into that, guys. And also notice here, it is former resistance from back in late 2022. So a good opportunity to be accumulating more altcoins, guys. I'm continuously on the search, and if you do have some opinions, send them my way if you're one of my patrons. The $10,000 portfolio might actually be growing, so I just wanted to let you guys know that. And for those of you guys who have not signed up yet, I'm opening up my portfolio, $10,000 so far, and I'm opening up all my trades. I'm going to be completely transparent with all my patrons for only $5 a month. That's $60 a year. Great value, I think, for what you guys are going to be getting, and it is the beginning of the month, so it is a good time to join the Patreon if you guys want to see what I'm going to be trading in this coming bull run. And so, market is down, sentiment is down. The best time to be accumulating cryptocurrencies. And guys, just for the record, these are not your typical cryptocurrencies. I'm going to be looking at different metrics and looking to pick potential high flyers, 5, 10x, 50x, maybe even 100x movers. Hopefully, we really see these cryptos soar. So I have so far picked about 15 different coins, and the list is only going to grow. Wanted to keep moving, guys. Michael Branch posting this. A substantial acquisition of Ripple's XRP token has been identified by Whale Alert. We did see a big move of XRP tokens as identified by Whale Alert. The platform noted that 66.6 million XRP equated to approximately $33 million moved from Binance to an undisclosed wallet. This transfer has ignited discussions about the potential ramifications for its market value. In recent times, noteworthy transfers of significant XRP amounts have taken place within Ripple's ecosystem. So we've generally seen Ripple move XRP for on-demand liquidity purposes or other institutional purposes, but this one was from Binance to an unknown wallet. So it looks as though this one is particularly from an XRP whale. These developments transpire amidst an ongoing legal dispute, of course, between Ripple and the SEC. We do not have any more information on this transaction at this time. Nevertheless, it is interesting to note we are continuing to see these market moves for XRP specifically. So just wanted to thank Michael for letting us in on that. Again, guys, investors, if this is your first rodeo, I get it that you feel like, okay, when are we going to moon? I felt like that too in 2019. I felt like 2019 was never going to end. And, comparatively, 2019 is very, very similar to 2023 in a lot of ways. After a full year of a bear market, what we got in 2019, so this was the first cycle that I was in, first full complete cycle that I was in for crypto. And 2019 was that year where we just kind of saw this, boom, the beer flu at the beginning of 2020. And then finally the run up, guys. But boy, 2019, this was a headache every single day. We didn't really see, any kind of significant, and we thought we were moving up because of this. But then after that, we just started moving down again. Then when we started moving up again, we got nailed by the beer flu. And then, it just felt hopeless at a point. Not to mention at the end of 2020, the SEC lawsuit hit. XRP holders too. So I get it, sentiment is down, but we got to stay focused, guys. And this is why I'm opening up my trading portfolio. I'm also going to be letting you guys in on my XRP trades, my Bitcoin trades, and all the other cryptocurrencies that I do hold. So I have a feeling that this is just going to be a free-for-all. I'm just going to open up everything to you guys. Only $5 a month, and I have kept it fairly affordable so that you guys can follow me all the way through. And I mean, in the space for XRP holders, Ripple, I think, is seen as the headliner of the show. But that's not to say that there have been some critics of that. Bill Morgan posting this, you expect profits from the effort of Ripple. Now, Digital Asset Buy did tweet this out on September the 2nd, and I did highlight his tweet. Now, Ripple obviously does a lot for the space. Ripple has the deepest pockets. Ripple is obviously the driver for that XRP utility. Some crypto influencers, though, are saying, you know, it's not just Ripple. We should be focusing on other cryptocurrency companies or other builders, developers, I guess. Carpenter XRP saying, you know, all these big influencers are doing nothing but relying on Ripple. I'm surprised the SEC didn't use these types of posts for evidence, almost as if they hadn't heard of the XRPL and its capabilities for retail uses. And Crypto Eddie did say, you know, you can't throw me in that pile. I've been saying for years, don't hang your hat on the company Ripple to build XRP value. They are just one of the hundreds, if not thousands, coming to use digital assets and the ledger. And so, you know, to their points, I mean, I'm going to play devil's advocate a little bit. Yes, we should be focusing on all the utility. For example, companies like Spend the Bits. They are a great example of, you know, a company building on the XRP ledger to move Bitcoin, boom, at the speed of light. So that's great utility. On the other hand, Ripple is the leading driver. They are the biggest company. They are doing the most in the space. So, I mean, I can see both sides. Bill Morgan here saying, you know, even if Ripple agrees with you, Eddie, this is an extract from Exhibit PX234, which the SEC put into evidence. It is part of an email chain involving Monica Long and others at Ripple. And even down here, Ripple said other companies are innovating on the XRP ledger. So, I mean, we know it occurs. I think people are starting to feel a little testy. I mean, the market hasn't been moving the way we had anticipated when we did get that Ripple SEC verdict. And I feel like the XRP community, this is not the first time either that the XRP community is now, or has been divided into two camps. This kind of, and the funny thing is, you know, I've been in this space long enough to know that this kind of thing happens every few years or so. We see this sort of thing, but again, I like to stand back and look at both sides of the coin. Now, recently I did a video, and I'm going to, you know, say this flat out because I'm not trying to hide anything here, about the CEO of Western Union, and I was wondering about it myself, and I did address it in the video. I want to state that for a fact. Crypto Eddie posted this. If you said, why does it matter if old news is shared? This is why the CEO at Western Union looked into this in 2017, tested 10 transactions in 2018, and resigned a couple of years ago. It matters. New investors are misled. This Uphold post should be removed. Now, here's the thing. Uphold is a known cryptocurrency exchange, and they're also sharing this information. The problem is, once somebody posts something, well, I mean, it does spread in the XRP community. And the way this article was originally written, we couldn't really get a gauge on if there was a recent telephone conference or not. So this is the video I did, and I did give it context. I did mention that this was news from 2018 in this video, so I'm not trying to pass anything off as new news. However, it is difficult sometimes to you know, be aware that the people who are originally publishing these articles have the most up-to-date info. So I did give that video context for my viewers. I always try to do my best to do that. Wrath of Kahneman here saying, you know, I cannot confirm Uphold. Is there a better source for this? There's been a spate of old news circulating recently. A link to a conference call, or at least the date. It wasn't in the last earnings call, and it sounds identical to these articles from 2018. So that's exactly what I said. You know, I was wondering, is this conference? What was this conference call? I was looking for it and trying to identify the date. But exactly like Wrath of Kahneman says here, this is old news from 2018, and I guess for some in the XRP community, it's good to understand where, you know, the news is coming from and the genesis of this news. But, you know, this is not recent. He also goes on to say the crypto misinformation cycle, tweet old articles without sources or dates. That's the big problem. When you don't have a date, you can't really justify its basis. Crypto sites write articles based on outsourced tweets. New tweets appear about those articles. It must be legit. Crypto Eddie also making a comment on this. Here is a great example of how Ripple's business model focused and changed from 2016 to 2017. Now, again, I'm going to step back and play devil's advocate for a second. She says Ripple's Ross Edwards a month ago explained how Ripple, in truth, doesn't compete with Swift because they focus on low capital transfer use cases. Now, this is Ross Edwards from July 2023, a month ago, as she says here. You can click on this link And you can see right in here
Thanks
that
for joining.
I just stopped that this is from July 26, 2023. Now, what does this clip say? Ripple not competing with Swift? And I'm going to show you how I'm going to play devil's advocate in a second. Listen to this.
Where's Ross from Ripple? Hey, come on down.
So I'm Ross Edwards from Ripple. For those of you who don't know Ripple, we are a leader in the enterprise blockchain and crypto solution space. We work with financial institutions predominantly, but other the community and corporates as well on how to move, manage, and tokenize value. And we've been doing that since 2012. So we just passed 10 years at the end of last year. Our predominant enterprise market is a product called RippleNet, which is a cross-border payments product that we work with many financial institutions around the world to facilitate instant, low capital transfers and payments across borders around the world. We have RippleNet customers in over, I think, 55 countries. And to give you some idea, it started off as a fiat-based rail, so an alternative to Swift, if you like. Some of you may remember back in the sort of 2016, 17 years, it was sort of like Ripple and Swift. In truth, we don't compete with Swift that much because we're more looking at lower value, higher velocity payment use cases.
So you don't compete with Swift that much. Okay, so that's what he said. And this is recent as per Crypto Eddie here. But then you get this from Brad Garlinghouse from Davos 2023, and he says, well, you be the judge.
Now Swift, Swift is kind of a competitor. It's slightly more complicated than that because Swift is really just messaging. When you send a Swift transfer, it's not liquidity. You're actually sending bank messages to banks that have liquidity. So to some degree, Citibank and HSBC, really the top two, JPM, those are the top three liquidity banks. And when you're sending Swift messages, you're sending messages to banks to release liquidity and making sure the debits and credits match.
I could play this full clip for you guys, but I think the beginning first 5 seconds or so is really the point that I want to highlight.
Now Swift, Swift is kind of a competitor.
Swift is a competitor, even though
in truth, we don't compete with Swift that much.
Okay, so which one is it even within Ripple's camp? They do compete, they do not compete, and I'm sure context is everything. And this is why when I do my videos, I try to give as much context as possible, guys. So, take it for what it is. Another example I just wanted to mention here when, the naysayers say there is no switch. Ripple's not going to flip a switch. That idea is preposterous. Is it though?
Started building RippleNet with the thesis that crypto liquidity would eventually be able to support robust global payments, large payments. RippleNet was designed so that customers seeing the benefits of our fiat-based network could flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough.
Flip the switch to ODL once the market was mature enough, and that's not the only time, guys.
In the XRP ledger, and you can handle real money with it. You don't have to. But you have a switch that you can flip whenever you're ready to handle real money. And then when you're arguing that feature should be included in the XRP ledger, you have something that you can show.
Customers have the option of flipping a switch, coming from David Schwartz, but also from Brad Garlinghouse here. So take it for what it is. I just wanted to give you guys the context there, just to kind of put a little bit more nuance to these arguments here. I do think old information, for the record, I do think old information is good to know. We should not pass it off as new information. We should give as much context as possible. And that is just my opinion on that. Wanted to keep moving, guys, because this is real world utility. Chad Steingraber here posting this bit of information. Recently, Alipay Plus payment tech is to debut in the Middle East market with its full suite of e-wallet solutions at Seamless Saudi Arabia 2023. So this is just another application, guys, for a Ripple-enabled company. Through a secondary partnership, Alipay Plus Payment Tech today announced that it will take place in the Seamless Saudi Arabia 2023 from September 4th to the 5th. Alipay Plus Payment Tech is a full suite of e-wallet solutions provided by Ant Group to enable customers to build e-wallet apps quickly with world-class functionality, reliability, and stability. This is the first time that Alipay Plus Payment Tech will showcase its diversified solutions and services in the Middle East market. Now, I mention this because of the partnership that Alipay has with Tranglo. Alipay partnered Tranglo integrates Ripple's cross-border payment solutions. And so you can see it here. Tranglo did enter a global cross-border remittance partnership with Alipay. This was back in January of 2020. And as Chad points out here, Tranglo is in fact partnered with Ripple. We do know that as well. So, just another example of another partnership making its way through to the Middle East. Now, the Middle East is very Ripple enabled as it is. A lot of central banks over there. I believe Yemen is one, the UAE. Just to name a couple. I think the Central Bank of Egypt too, but they're already partnered with Ripple. So, as a Sharia-compliant cryptocurrency and Sharia-compliant technology, RippleNet is making waves over there in the Middle East, so it is no surprise to me that Alipay, with their partnership through Tranglo, is also permeating that part of the world too. So wanted to thank Chad just for posting that. Some other things, guys, that I wanted to mention that I'm not going to go too deep into, but the fact that they're happening does bring up a point that I mentioned about 2 months ago that I wanted to highlight again today. $114.5 trillion in U.S. Treasuries dumped by China and new BRICS member Saudi Arabia. So this is brand new news. BRICS members China and Saudi Arabia are unloading hundreds of billions of dollars worth of U.S. Treasuries. And guys, this is just going to spell trouble for the U.S. economy. New numbers from the Treasury Department show that China trimmed the U.S. Treasuries holdings from $938.8 billion in June of 2022 to $835.4 billion in June of 23, a decrease of almost $103.4 billion in just 12 months. On top of that, we've got digital yuan, or AKA their CBDC, availability for the retail sector in China. This one coming from Michael Branch here. China's digital yuan must be available in all retail scenarios, says central bank officials. So again, just highlighting, this push for this new financial system rapidly approaching, something that, most Westerners are fairly clueless about, but, when you take a broader picture, when you take a bigger look at what's happening around the world, you can really get a sense of what's going on and have that ammo ready when you're ready to make your next move. Michael Branch here also posting this. Okay, the United States is on the brink of reaching a staggering $33 trillion in national debt. So I will link, again, all these articles in the description of the video, but I just kind of wanted to highlight what is going on today. The United States is on the brink of reaching a staggering $33 trillion in national debt, according to the latest data from the U.S. Department of Treasury's Bureau of the Fiscal Service. In the past month, the U.S. Total public debt outstanding has ballooned by $306 billion, settling at approximately $32.91 trillion total. So the debt is not getting any smaller either. Guys, you seeing a pattern here? You seeing a theme? The Great Reset is upon us. Some may suspect that certain governments are purposely trying to ruin economies so that they can say, look, you need UBI. You need a Great Reset, essentially. And so if governments are in on it, well, we would need the current administration to stay in power, right? Remember this video I did about 2 months ago? I posted this on July 10th, 2023. The Black Swan event that could, in fact, perhaps thwart the 2024 election in the United States, guys. Listen to what I said then. But how close are we, guys? And have we been being warned from day one? BRICS versus G7, this one coming from Fojack here on Twitter, as the worlds collide. Now, let me remind you what Mr. Poole posted back in 2019. Guys, this feels like so long ago when you compare it to where, cryptocurrency utility, DLT technology has come from and where it is today. The time is near as clock strikes 1:05. The question is, will you be here right on time? As the worlds collide, you'll see the new era being born. The new world you'll see will hit you like a dream as cash becomes something you never thought it could ever be. Believe in XRP. Also this from 2020, another warning that a new world is born as we collide. As cash continues to disappear before your own eyes and partnerships emerge of which you knew nothing about, the phoenix shall rise once the storm is over. You won't remember how you made it through, how you managed to survive. You won't even be sure whether the storm is truly over. And yet the strong will persevere at the end as the storm comes to a surprising and unexpected halt and the clouds clear out to your own surprise. Now, again, guys, this has to do with a financial system. I'm sure this cryptic message has to do with a lot of things, sociopolitical, but essentially with the financial system. The storm is not coming. It's already here among us. You're nearly out, and yet the worst is still on the horizon to come, isn't it? Or is it just an illusion in your mind? As time goes on, the only proof you need is in the past. Past proves the future, and yet future will always prove the past. This is the time to keep everything you know to yourself. Knowledge is power. However, that knowledge cannot stop what's coming no matter how hard you try. The plan is fully in motion and its initial phases are nearly all complete. So the BRICS nation, Mr. Poole, this cryptic message, perhaps we're going to see a black swan event. Perhaps that could take the price of certain cryptos up, down. Will altcoins move in a different direction? Guys, it's interesting. Listen closely to General Flynn. This was from Matt, XR Patriot here on Twitter. There could be a scenario where 2023 elections do not occur. So could this be part of this new world colliding? A new financial structure, a new financial system being put in place because of socio-political upheaval. Some other black swan type event occurs, or maybe there's a couple. Mr. Poole mentioned it. Yes, 2024 will not occur. So Mr. Poole also mentioned this. 2024 will not occur. Another cryptic tweet that he posted back in April of 2022. Was he talking about the elections? Listen to this.
He doesn't know how that's going to happen. Wasn't speculating about exactly how something like that is going to happen, meaning, that the 2024 election doesn't occur. But that's pretty much what he said, was that he can see a scenario, as I can, a scenario that we don't have an election in 2024, that some other, and they call them black swans, some other black swan type event occurs, or maybe there's a couple of black swan.
Some other type of black swan event occurs. Maybe there's some other type of black swan. And I mean, I wouldn't have brought this up unless something smelt rotten in the state of Denmark. Now, again, from Matt XR Patriot here on Twitter. Yes, 2024 will not occur. Did you guys see this? This was originally tweeted out to me by Dodler for XRP. Listen to this.
Alexa, who will win the next American election?
The 2024 American election will not take place. There will be no winner. War Powers Resolution of 1973 or the War Powers Act will be invoked by the act of war with Russia and China. Once an invoked, the standing party will retain and remain in power.
What? There will be no winner to the 2024 election. War Powers Resolution Act of 1973 or the War Powers Act will be invoked because there could be, it's coming from Alexa 2. Russia, China, part of the BRICS nations. We are recently getting this news here that China and Saudi Arabia are dumping U.S. treasuries, and the United States' debt has ballooned $32.91 trillion. I mean, luckily for us, guys, we are paying attention to what Ripple is doing, even though they aren't the main builders on the XRP. We know they're not the only ones, but guys, they are the ones that are going to change the face of finance coming into this new financial era. That is just my opinion, but I want to hear what you guys think. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you like the content I'm providing. I always love hearing your comments. See you in the next one, guys.